Hey everybody, Congressman Mark Green, Dr. Mark Green here for Whiteboard Wednesday, and we're going to talk Biden inflation. Why? Because on Monday, the start of the week, the president came out at the White House with his big celebration on the Inflation Reduction Act, which, by the way, no economist out there is saying is actually going to, decrease inflation. Not when you pump more. We'll talk about that in a moment. But anyway, so the inflation number on the day the president is celebrating his Inflation Reduction Act was announced at 8.3%. The stock market took a massive hit. Everybody's 401ks, your retirement plans, firefighters' retirement fund, everything took a hit because of this inflation number, right? Meanwhile, the president's celebrating. And the president actually made a comment, prices are stable. And I think he made that factually incorrect statement because the actual inflation number, or the rate of changes in price, not prices, but the rate of change of price, Mr. President, had gone in June from 9.1, July to 8.5, and August 8.3. This still means inflation is 8.3%, meaning prices are not stable, Mr. President. It means the rise in prices, the actual increase in prices, is slowing a little bit. But what Americans are paying for their food and their electricity and things like that is still significantly higher. You can look over the 1.4% when the president actually came into office. 5, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3 in those corresponding months from this year. 8.3 August of 22, 5.3 August of 21. Again, this is the percent increase or change in the price. Food is at 13.5%. Gas, utilities, if you get natural gas for your stove, your water heater, 33% increase in price. Electricity, 15.5%. Transportation, 11.3%. And perhaps we need to do this again and explain to the president exactly how inflation happens. Inflation happens when you have more money chasing a smaller amount of goods. So if, for example, the dollars in the economy are fixed at a certain point and the amount of goods are fixed at a certain point, and you add more money to the system, you have more money chasing fewer goods, and you actually get an increase in the price of those goods. And we've seen that's exactly what's happened, whether it was the increased COVID support, more money into the economy, this crazy infrastructure bill, which really isn't infrastructure, it's like the Green New Deal, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is really not an Inflation Reduction Act, it's a Green New Deal add-on, right? Billions of dollars there. Actually raises taxes, we'll talk about that here in a moment, right? And now the student loan buyout, which is going to be $750 billion, more money, you put more money with a fixed amount of goods, you get even worse inflation. Well, you could fix that if you increase the amount of goods relative to the amount of increase in dollars, but that's not what the president has done. First off, the supply chain crisis has decreased the amount of goods on the shelves. His regulations, this president has passed more regulations in the first year of his presidency than any president in the history of the United States. Regulations actually add a cost to doing business, which decreases the amount of goods, the supply in the economy, which then lowers the supply of goods, worsening inflation. His assault on the energy sector, which has resulted in massive increases in energy, and he's depleting our strategic reserve in order to make it look good for his election, got that. But even giving 1 million barrels away to China. But that increase in energy, whether it's a gallon of milk because the farmer had to pay more for diesel to plow the field, to plant the grain, to feed the cow, to get the gallon of milk, all of that decreases the supply of goods. It's an added cost, right? So we get even fewer supply of goods out of this president. And now the Inflation Reduction Act, which increases a tax on your natural gas, on crude oil, on gasoline, all those taxes. There are other taxes in there. And of course, it dumps even more money into the economy in other sectors. So it does just the opposite of what it's supposed to do to reduce inflation. Adds more money and decreases more goods. And that's Bidenflation. And it's Whiteboard Wednesday. Thank you.